Alright, so we got, well, today, we're breaking down Kelvin Gastelum versus Jack Hermansson. We'll go through the whole card really quickly. Davis and Figueiredo versus JB, so I reckon it'll go pretty much exactly the same way as the first fight. Davis will probably catches Joe when he's rushing in. Cash good last time they fought. Davison was actually the underdog, and we got him with the money line and the inside leg distance line, so that was good. But there's not too much value on him this time. I wanted to look into betting Fiziev, but I'm not quite sure of his grappling because it's never really been tested. So this fight hopefully will show us, where his grappling's at and see whether he's a play in the future or not. Don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be confident picking either of those people. This fight we are taping at the moment, so we'll get back to you then. Don't know. Oh, probably not Caddis. Probably the other guy. Grant probably gets that done with wrestling. Joe Duffy probably controls him on the ground. I really like Brett Johns, but I'd probably say Montel Jackson just takes him down and kind of controls him. This has potential to be a very boring fight card. Malcolm Court, I'm not quite sure of either of those guys. Good prospect here, Armin Sayukian. Davi Ramos is pretty good. He's a pretty good grappler as well. Probably go Armin. Probably beats him up on the feet. Stuffs the takedowns. Yeah. Who Davey lose to recently? Yeah. Screw it. And yeah, that's it. So we'll get into Jack the Joker Hermansson and Kelvin Gastelum now. Alright, so for KG, you kind of know what you're getting, kind of a boxer, a little undersized for the 185 division. He's a southpaw, mostly keeps it on the feet, does have a wrestling background, doesn't really use it as much, has pretty average takedown defense for, a wrestler with the wrestling background that he has. And yeah, doesn't use it offensively very often. So when he is striking, mostly he'll just keep, fundamental boxing combos, 1-2s, just a 2-2-3, 1-2-3. Probably I'd say slip 1-2 is his most effective weapon on the feet. Yeah, that's what he knocked out Bisping with. I think Belfort as well. And I think that's what he caught Weidman with. I don't know if they were slip 1-2s, maybe they're just 1-2s, but yeah, a very effective weapon of his. He's got fast hands for a middleweight, 185er. Most effective, I'd probably say KG when he's countering. He was countering a lot in the Adesanya fight, and he was doing pretty well. I'd say if he was on the front foot against Adesanya, he would have been pieced up. But yeah, came in with a decent game plan, started countering, because you got to let Adesanya come to you. You can't just let him, use his counter game and let him get reads on you. You've got to kind of react to him. When Kelvin does commit to like a 1-2 or a big right or a big left hand, he will kind of drop levels or drop levels plus taking a big step in with his lead leg. That's when you kind of know he's loading up for that big left straight or left overhand. So it's kind of a little tell on Kelvin. He's always changing levels. Sometimes he feints it, but the ones where he actually commits to it is a little more pronounced, and that's when you can actually tell when he's going to commit to an overhand right or a straight left. An overhand left or a straight left. So yeah, Jack Hermansson on the feet. So he's very light at his feet. He's bouncing around a lot. Keeps that lead leg kind of turned in. Which normally would leave you open for leg kicks, outside leg kicks if you're versing an orthodox fighter, but this fight is versing a southpaw, so only the lead leg, the inside leg kick would be open, and since he turns that leg in so inwardly, there's not really any chance for a leg kick. Yeah, so he's pretty light on his feet. Sometimes he's He's kind of like sticking and moving. Saw that a lot in the Jacare fight. Jacare's, I guess you could call him a power puncher. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jack does the same thing in this fight. So stick and move, yeah, that's what he does. Really, stiff jab, kind of gets on his bike. When he is striking, his hands come away from his chin and don't return. So when he's striking, in combinations, he definitely doesn't return his hands to his face at all. They kind of just continue to fire, and he kind of fires from the hip. So that could be dangerous against Kelvin, who is pretty fast, straight punches, and could definitely catch Jack if he's got his hands low. Also, Jack, well, he kind of likes he likes the clinch game. He likes the grappling more, I'd say, than the stand up, and he throws a lot of knees in the clinch. Has that really sick arm in guillotine that he uses. When his opponent's turtled up, he'll kind of sit down at the arm in guillotine and then put all his weight onto that choke, and then hopefully flip you over or just finish you by tucking the legs in and crunching the abs. And yeah, so his takedowns, he can shoot from a fair distance and not set them up all the time. So, sometimes on the feet he's looking to slip the punch just so he can shoot the takedown, like the blast double from distance. And once he gets in, like a dominant position, or once he gets you on the ground, he'll look to pass to side control and then to full mount. So that's pretty much his favorite pass. He gets into he passes to side control. Sweeps the legs over to one side and then hooks one of his legs over, so effectively getting himself into full mount, just needs to posture up, and then he's in there. And then we saw Kelvin get done by that exact same guard pass by Jacare in round 1, I believe. Yeah, round 1. Jacare literally did this exact same guard pass, which is quite concerning because Kelvin's guard has been passed a few times in his UFC career, and Jack has pretty good ground and pound, and he does look to obtain a dominant position. So it's kind of dangerous if you're looking to bet on Kelvin. And yeah, Jack's, he's very opportunistic with his ground and pound. With Kelvin, he'll get in the clinch, but he won't really throw any offense from the clinch. Saw that Darren Till fight, kind of clinched up. He initiated the clinch at times, but didn't really, do anything in the clinch. Just kind of sat there, pretty defensive, throw a knee to the body every now and then. He will clinch up when he's hurt. He doesn't have a great poker face. He'll just shoot or clinch up, look for the clinch if he's actually hurt from the striking. He has a decent sprawl when he gets shot on, like from distance, with blast doubles, so that could be trouble for Jack because that's a lot of his takedowns. Besides the ones in the clinch where he has those nice like Greco throws where he'll clinch up with the upper body and then kind of just sweep the legs. Kelvin also gives his back to get up a lot, almost every time, which I thought Jacare would sub him, but who knows. And Jack Hermansson's a really good grappler as well, so, maybe you could take advantage of that tendency, if anyone can. So how these guys win their fights, Jack the Joker, he has actually really incredible cardio on the low. He just kept firing against Jacare. Just non-stop volume. Obviously when he's on the front foot, I'd probably say he's better. On the back foot, he's a little too defensive, covers up a little too much. He's got good, smooth transitions when he's on top, good grappling transitions. For Kelvin Gastelum, he's a very good counterpuncher. Decent fundamental boxing. I wouldn't say it's the best I've ever seen, but it's pretty nice. He's got a really good chin as well. Got sparked a few times in the last round against Adesanya, but that was accumulated damage onto that one fight. So you could say maybe his chin is deteriorating a little bit, but I'd still say he has a really good chin. Took a few clean shots from Darren Till as well. And Kelvin also has like some pretty decent get-ups, doesn't usually get held on the ground for very long periods of time. Only fight that I can recall recently of his is Chris Weidman. Alright. How these guys lose. Jack, I don't think he reacts to power punches very well. Saw that in the Thiago Santos fight. And Jared Cannonier. Yeah, the Jared Cannonier fight. So he kind of got hit pretty cleanly, and he kind of just turtled up and, you know, I don't want to say gave up, but just kind of turtled up and let the referee call the fight, which is really strange because he showed a ton of heart in the Talis Lates fight, where he broke his rib or something like that, and then he was fighting off submissions. He was down 2 rounds, and then he comes out and just like throws ground and pound. So I don't know what was up with him in that fight. Maybe he just has like a CTE concerns, and that's why he doesn't like taking prolonged damage to the head. Maybe that's it. But yeah, it's just kind of weird how he reacts to power punches, and Kelvin is definitely a power puncher if he hits you clean. Jack Hermansson doesn't check leg kicks, won't be a problem in this fight though, unless Kelvin gets really tricky with the outside lead leg kick. Can be pressured and backed up to the fence. Yeah, you can kind of cut him off and manipulate his footwork a little bit, but yeah. But that's if you mostly want to take him down, which Kelvin probably won't be. Unless Kelvin wants to back him up to the fence, start teeing off shots, which would be a good idea if you want to cut off the cage and do that. Yeah, so he can shoot for blast doubles, you know, a bit without setting them up and from a bit too far away. So at times, for Kelvin, sometimes he can be controlled in the clinch. That's probably because he's very undersized for the 185 division. Well, not because, but like, you know, could be a part that he's very undersized. That he's very undersized for the 185 division. He got controlled in the clinch by Till, controlled in the clinch by who else? Rick. Till and somebody. If I don't think of it in 5 seconds, I'll pass up. Weidman? Yeah, we'll take it. He doesn't check leg kicks either, because he's very boxing centric, and he needs that lead leg pretty heavy so he can flick out his jab when he wants. He's also shown some subpar fight IQ in his fights, like clinching up with Jacare just when he really didn't need to, and also shooting on Israel when he hadn't shot pretty much the whole fight when he had Israel hurt. And yeah, so when he's in the clinch as well, he doesn't fight hands, he doesn't battle for hooks, he kind of just... That's when I'm talking about the lack of offense as well. He doesn't really do anything in the clinch. I don't know if he trains it that much, but geez, he's a little funny in the clinch. Also, he'll give up dominant position on the ground like fairly often. Like he gave Jacare a few dominant positions on the ground, gave Weidman a lot of dominant positions. Seems a little too comfortable on the ground, a little too relaxed for what he needs to be. Alright, so some X factors for this one. Jack, obviously you can see on the screen, has a 6-inch reach advantage, 7 inches in leg reach, and 4 inches in height. Jack hasn't faced many southpaws. Kelvin, I would say, has the power advantage and the speed advantage. Over this quarantine period, I'm a little worried about Kelvin and his discipline. You know, he does like his food. He does like putting on a little bit over between fights. And over this quarantine period where he wasn't expecting to fight, I wouldn't be surprised if he ballooned up to over like 210, 220. So yeah, I'm wondering if he's coming in at a little bit worse shape than he usually would be, because over this quarantine period he probably couldn't train, probably was eating as much as he usually does. That's just his history of discipline, that I'm basing that on. I don't have any actual inside knowledge on that. That's just what, you know, Kelvin has been shown to miss weight. Yeah, so. Pass to victory for Kelvin. Keep combos at a maximum of 3. And just be prepared to defend takedown attempts, because Jack will try and slip the punches and shoot for a blast double. Work the body when Jack's covering up. He does use that shell guard quite a fair bit, so just work the body when he's doing that. Use feints to draw big reactions and keep him on the back foot. I'd probably say a sprawl and brawl approach would be best for this one. Come over with right hooks when he throws the jab, because he drops his lead hand when he throws the jab, and just kind of make him uncomfortable with the pressure. Just keep that boxing range on him and just keep teeing off. For Jack the Joker Hermansson, I'd say make sure you're out-voluming Kelvin Gastelum, because he'll probably have the more impactful shots. Just don't let Kelvin find his rhythm. Get comfortable. That's where he gets really dangerous. So pretty much just stay long, clinch up, stay busy, stick and move, constantly attack. Pretty much the same as Darren Till did, just kind of frustrate Kelvin. Also, you could throw the body kick. Adesanya had a lot of success with that. Jack hasn't had much experience for southpaws, but as soon as Cannonier turned southpaw in their fight, for that one brief second, where was I? Oh yeah, as soon as Cannonier went southpaw, pretty much Jack just threw out the body kick straight away. So hopefully he does that in this fight, because Kelvin did get hit by that quite a fair bit in the Adesanya fight. Alright. So yeah, he's the same guard pass as Jacare did. He's, set the blueprint. Lead leg kicks if you want, like the inside or outside lead leg kick. If Kelvin is hurt, try and ground him. Look for the sub. Maybe look for the guillotine. Clinch. Snap him down. Look for the guillotine. You know how it goes. Rear naked choke when Kelvin eventually offers his back. Feint the blast double and then go for the uppercut. Weidman actually threw that, and it was, had a bit of success with that versus Kelvin. So maybe try that. And just, get the back body lock and start bullying him, because he doesn't really fight hands. So you can get the back body lock, throw some knees to the clinch, knees to the body, Charlie horses. Just bully him in the back body lock position. So how I see this fight going, I was leaning Gastelum when I went into tape in this one. Normally I overestimate Gastelum or overrate him, just because his style, he's kind of that stout boxer who can take a fair bit of damage, can dish a bit of damage, has decent enough takedown defense. I don't know, I always overrate those kind of guys. But yeah, I believe Jack can do enough to edge this one here, just based on volume and grappling. Kelvin has shown holes in his clinch defense, his grappling game, and that's just happens to be where Jack thrives and probably wants this fight. On the feet, I think it could be competitive. However, I see Gastelum giving Jack trouble there, so I expect Jack to try to take it to the ground. I see Jack taking him down, getting some top control, maybe even getting a finish with ground and pound or like a rear naked choke. So it will be a good fight either way. A fair bit of anticipation for it. I'm pretty keen for it. It's show me where Jack Hermansson is. I can't seem to get a great read on him, but this fight will hopefully tell us. So my prediction is Jack by, where are we? Decision. And I'm not confident with it, because Kelvin is pretty durable and he's pretty game. So I don't like the flip odds here. I would much prefer Jack at $2.30. If any of these fighters get to $2.30, I'd probably lay a unit on it. I'm not confident either side, but I'd probably say I'd lean Jack at the moment if you had a gun to my head and I had to pick a winner. But if any of these guys get to $2.30, that's probably a play. Jack, a decision, 345. Nah, it's not really a play either. So if either of these guys get to $2.30, I'd play that, and that's what I'd recommend today. But yeah, not too much, not too many plays on this one, guys.